Yo, just got home, got off the plane, wanted to run through the race run from the weekend. I was actually sitting here giving a bit of a run through on what happened with my buddy Brian. So he's like, "Hey, let's commentate your race run. Let's put it out there and talk a bit about what I went through on the weekend." So sitting here in the gate, I knew that in the first Q1 qualifying session, I overrode the track a bit. I felt like I was pretty pumped up to like give it a good effort. I felt pretty good in practice and thought I could run at the front of the pack. Unfortunately, I overrode the track a bit and was not as good as I wanted to be. Made a few mistakes and ended up giving a lot of time away with a almost over the bars and then a mistake in this first section. So I struggled to get in the flow state in the race run. Usually I'm pretty nervous and I can block everything out and I'm able to like kind of shut my brain off. Wasn't able to quite get to the place mentally I wanted to be for the race run this week. The goal is to race at 90%. So if I had any issues, I had enough skill to keep it on two wheels and not hit the ground. When you race at 90%, if you lose time, you're not getting it back, right? So once you chalk the mistakes up, I think overall I was 3.7 seconds back on the race run. Dropping in, take a couple pedals, two shifts, and then Q1 I jumped on that pink rock that you can see right here, just like ran the front wheel right into this thing and almost went off the track. So I wanted to make sure I jumped farther enough inside. I got a good pump here, and a lot of riders were having issues with these rocks here in the first corner that were causing flat tires. If you actually went quite high in this corner, I think you ran your wheel into that rock and you would get a flat. So I was able to stay under them, get a really good pump here. I'm able to get a good pump, good rhythm through this section, and braked out onto this. I think I over braked a bit and was actually I got a bit wide entering this section, which ended up having me lean into the bank on the kink coming up. So if you look, I hit this rock and the front tire kind of deflects a bit. In practice, I had been getting my wheels kind of just to the outside in this support. I'll play it back through and try to show you guys this. So in practice, I'd actually been getting my wheels to the outside of this and there was good support. I think just I had a bit of a mental block when I over brake there. I felt like I really needed to let it open and just ended up, because of the lack of speed, I ended up a bit farther inside. Front wheel deflects and it kind of shoots me into the bank here. So as you can see, I'm pushing front, and then I actually had to unclip my foot here to not crash. If I was able to get to the outside of that rock, I was able to actually jump up in this grass a bit and let it ride without hitting so many holes. So as you can see, I'm trying to get my foot clipped in and I end up getting kind of blown outside of the main line, which was actually quite scary. I was like, oh man, don't crash. Like, let's not throw the race run away already. So probably lost about a second here, and it kind of took the intensity away. I was really, really ready to charge and ride on the limit. And by the time I got through this section, I was like, kind of had to regroup, take a deep breath, and go ahead and get myself back moving in a positive manner, right? I was like, okay, regroup, let's get going here. So unfortunate. I mean, I'm sure that's at least a second right there, just losing that drive. Was able to set up and hit this really well. Blasted that corner, jumped into the high here. These roots were causing some havoc for people. So if you jumped into that compression, the bike would load, unload, and then kind of want to turn you low underneath these roots. So luckily I got high and I was able to do good braking here. I was running it in practice a bit too hot to this section and collapsing myself in this compression down here in the corner where you actually needed to be driving speed. So I was really happy with my braking, got a good pump, got a good sprint here. Unfortunately hit these rocks a bit, but was able to carry good speed. It was really crucial to get to this outside catch here, and because of the way the corner set up right, it was really easy to lose the front because there was a rock kind of in the main line, so you had to be super patient. Felt like I got a good drive, got a good pedal here, and it showed in the speed trap. I think I was maybe fifth fastest in the speed trap, stayed low in this corner. They had the track. I noticed there was someone raking rocks when I was going up for my race run. So they had this corner super, super clean. So I actually hadn't gone that far inside yet in the whole weekend because the corner wasn't, all the loose rocks weren't cleared off. So bit inside, I knew there was a good amount of support on the exit of this corner. So I was able to hit that and actually set up back across on the table coming up. So you guys watch, super patient, get set up, get the exit, good drive, jump down this, a bit inside, carried good speed, I felt, hit a good amount of support, was able to actually set up outside for this corner, which unfortunately it was in the rocks, but you got a bit of support from the grade. And right here, if you watch, maybe you can see me, I pulled a bit of brake to make sure that I got to the low side of this shark fin. I wanted to fight my way across. Some dudes were just letting it ride and jumping super far in. I was trying to keep it low, get across to this outside that I had been riding all weekend. I felt like I had really good support through here, missed the compression, was able to make a quick adjustment to get back across the track. This corner, I had been having some issues with the amount of rocks in this that were like making me feel like I was hitting the rim and slowing down. I was actually turning under this bit of support in the practice in the morning. Unfortunately, in my race run, I was carrying a bit more pace, and in here, I actually stalled the bike out pretty bad in this soft dirt and wasn't able to carry as much speed out of this section as I wanted. Didn't get the greatest pedal. Chose to brake here and try to get a little bit more backside rather than jumping to flat. I don't know if that was the right decision. Some dudes just sent it to flat and seemed to carry good speed. So made the decision, rode with it. I felt like I hit this pretty well, went in, was patient, was able to actually get a good pump there and get back up to get across. This section was really hard because if you hit it too fast, you would jump almost out into the corner and then lose speed going onto the plank. I felt like I kept the bike on the ground pretty good, but still got a bit of oversteer. The rear tire had a little bit of like maybe hit that root or had a bit of sidewall roll, which wanted to turn me back into this tree. And I actually had to stand the bike up to not get put into the tree and didn't get a great pedal across this. Lacked a little bit of speed, but hit that corner pretty hard. I chose not to pedal here. I chose to pump all of these things. And I feel like with my current state, like, yeah, I would love to be able to like sprint that, but I'm not actually strong enough in my sprinting ability yet to be able to pedal over like uneven terrain. So when it's like kind of rolly, I'm not actually strong enough to sprint through that. So just went with a pumping technique across there, tried to get some backside. This corner, I made a big mistake at the bottom of the chute in my Q1 run and actually lost the front on the root at the bottom, which made me almost crash in the compression. So I made a bit of like a mental post-it note to not override this. And I think I actually over-braked a bit here. As you can see, like I have the levers fully locked up and there's not a lot of support in this corner anymore. We've seen Jackson Goldstone make a mistake here and actually crash in this because he hit this compression a bit too hard. So wasn't really happy with my drive across this. I actually had to pump the hole rather than jumping across it and probably lost about a half second there. So maybe we're 1.5 seconds back now. On the splits, it said 2.5 back. But I would say 1.5 to maybe my best run in the pace that I had on the day. Felt like I managed to regain composition through these two corners, but heading into this section, I did end up braking. As you can see, brakes are pulled, and the realistic part is I don't think I maybe had to brake here. If I was a bit stronger, I would have been able to actually bunny hop the back of this corner and go a bit more inside and get a really good drive out of this. With my current state, when I hit things that hard, I'm not really able to hold myself up, especially when it's a left turn because my knee tends to come in a bit and I'm not actually able to hold like a strong position turning left under big compression. So didn't necessarily have the best drive just due to strength. This corner was super challenging because you're breaking down this whole chute here. If you look, you're coming in super fast, ripping, and you're actually having to like do a long braking for a pretty unsupportive corner. We've seen Luca have a mistake here and kind of push the rear wheel over this rut, and I'll show you why. There's not a lot of support when you enter this. If you look, there's a lot of loose rocks. It's pretty dry, so the rut has almost been blown off the track, and it would be super easy to actually lose the wheels and lose support out of this. You can see here, big rocks in the corner. I felt like I hit it patient enough and was able to get a good drive here after the fact. So I was pretty happy with that. Going across this straight, I was taking a little bit of a moment to regroup. There's a rock double down here that took a lot of strength to get over. This late in the run for me, I'm not as fit as I want to be, so my legs were burning pretty good, so I wanted to make sure to check up enough that I didn't jump myself down into this compression and not be able to gap this. So kind of just ran it in here, pretty controlled, slow. Was able to get this first gap good, and unfortunately when I compressed, I wasn't quite able to get the double out. A lot of guys were jumping from here over these roots super smooth, getting to the backside and kind of jump on, jump off. I just kind of missed the mark on this section and wasn't able to hit it as fast as I wanted to. And then down here, grabbed a bit of break here. I had struggled with this section to get this wide exit in practice in the morning. So I definitely was concerned with this, even sitting in the starting gate. So wanted to make sure that I executed this section. I did overbreak. Didn't quite get the exit that I wanted, and I would say maybe lost a bit of a half second not hitting this at full pace, so maybe that puts us at what, 2 seconds now. Come through here, feel like I executed that pretty well, and here my foot is out. When I landed the compression onto the road, left foot popped out of the pedal, so as you can see there's a lot of braking bumps and a corner at the bottom of this that is your outside foot. You need to actually drop your outside foot to get good traction between the wheels to have enough support to hit this corner at full speed. And if you can imagine right here, I mean, if you blow in a right corner, if you blow your outside foot off the pedal, I mean, you're going to have a huge crash. It's going to be a tomahawk. So didn't actually get the drive out of this corner. And I mean, when you look at this, you're not braking till all the way down here till this jump down here. You're trying to carry maximum speed for a long straightaway. So if you have to overbrake here, man, you're going to lose a ton of time. So if you look, I'm actually ripping the brake lever here, unfortunately. I shouldn't have had to brake for this. Should have braked here, but I shouldn't have had to brake for this corner yet. As you can look, brake lever is pulled. Not exactly great. Wasn't able to carry the speed across this I wanted to. Jump down, foot clips in, squash this, hit it a little slower than I wanted, and wasn't able to actually execute this corner. I lose the rear here, it steps out, and man, that was my drive to the finish line. I pedaled as hard as I could, still kind of cased the drop, didn't get a good drive across the finish line, and wasn't able to sprint after that compression. So bit off the pace, a little bummed about that. Turned around, thought the race run would have been maybe a little better than it was, even with the mistakes, but I'm just not at that pace at the moment. So fourth, when you add it up, probably lost a second on the drive to the finish line there, and that puts me 3.7 seconds back off the pace for 15th place. I felt like maybe I could have got, as you can see, my teammate here had an awesome run. Ronan crushed it. Amari ended up winning the race. Colbin second, seventh. So they all had good runs. Is what it is for me. Could have maybe got a top 5. Was probably on 10th place speed on the weekend, and with not a very good run, it put me in 15th, and that's all she wrote.